Hello, welcome to the live stream. I'm just getting started. Had to change the thumbnail and some stuff like that. Let's see. Trying to make sure I have everything set up the way I need it. I think I do. A lot of people banging outside. I don't know what's going on. Neighbors. Well, I have a grandson that may come over today and join us. I'm not sure what time, but at some point in time. So today we're going to be starting a new project. And let me show you what that project will be. We're going to start this page in Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. And we're going to do this page right here. Now, let me see if I can move my camera around a little bit. Let's see how far out I can actually scan. I guess that's as far out as it's going to let me record. This camera that I got here now it works much different than the camera on my other phone, my regular phone. I bought a cell phone to use as a dedicated camera for live streaming, but the camera functions are not the same. And it's the same type of phone. It's a Samsung Galaxy, but the camera doesn't work the same way as my other camera works. So it's very strange. So now I'm reworking on lighting and stuff like that. I know that camera's in the way for a second, guys. I'm just trying to see the best place I can put this. Because I actually want the camera. I may have to just do it like that. That's kind of hard to see though. It's hard to get everything positioned the way I need it to be. Maybe that will work like that. It just seems like the lighting seems so weird. It seems like all this part is in shadow, and like there's a shadow runs right across here. But I've got a 100-watt light bulb right here, 10 inches away from this paper, and it still looks like this paper's in shadow. And I don't understand that when I look at my phone, why I see all this shadow. It doesn't look too bad. Because even here like this is more lit up than this is. And there's a 100-watt bulb 14 inches away from here. And this is in shadow. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. That I'd have to have like another 100-watt bulb right here, just inches away to brighten that up some. I don't understand it. It always looks weird to me though. Yeah, see, there's a total difference between here and here. And I've got a 100-watt light bulb. So I'm just trying to figure out if I move, no matter what, it seems like just no matter what I do, that just there's a shadow. I don't understand why there's just so much shadow. That's what's throwing me off. I can't figure out why there is so much shadow. Because there should not be any shadow with this big bright light right directly above this. Of course, this is a LED type light too. And maybe that's the problem. I don't think I have other light bulbs. Let me look and see if I have a regular light bulb or if all I have are these LED bulbs. Maybe that's the problem. Let me look right quick, guys. No, guys, all I have is the just LED bulbs. So, well, anyway, I'm not sure. I just don't understand why there's always a shadow. It's not so much when I'm just looking at it, I don't really see that. But when I look at it on camera, I can tell that from right here down is more in shadow, or it looks that way to me. Okay, well, anyway, now let me tell you a little bit about this page that we're going to do. Like I said, it's Johanna Basford's World of Flowers. Where is the title page? There it is. So that's the book we're working in. And I don't know what this page would be called, but I was going to do a different page. If you saw the end of the last live stream, this is the Halloween book. I was actually going to do this picture. But I think this is a little bit, the area that needs to be blended is bigger than what I want to work with right now. So I was a little apprehensive about that because that's a big space for blending for a beginner. So I wasn't feeling comfortable with that. And I got to thinking, when I came across this page right here, I'm going to put this book back up, guys, because I'm not going to be using it. I just wanted to show uh, what we were going to do, what I was thinking at the time when I finished the last live stream. And that was after I did the Halloween picture. So, now my daughter brought me a picture this weekend too, or yesterday. Actually, she brought it yesterday or day before yesterday. Anyway, she had sent me a text message a couple of weeks ago with a picture of this illustration and asked me if I'd color it for her. So I told her I would color it for her, but I won't be coloring this anytime soon. And I wish I could zoom out on this thing. This thing is just crazy. The camera works totally different. I can't get it to zoom out any more than that right there. That's it. And see, on my phone, I can zoom out to a 0.5 anyway. This one I cannot, so it's kind of weird. But anyway, my daughter sent me this picture, but she brought it to me, and she wants me to color it for her. But first of all, it has glass. I don't know how to color glass. Okay? It's illuminated because it's a lava lamp. So there's a light inside of it. I don't know how to color that. So it's like she wants me to color something that's far above my level. So that's going to have to wait. Someday I may color that, but it's not going to be anytime soon. But when I saw these right here, I thought about this. We got to go back to this. Now I got that direct reflection going on up here. I'm just moving my light a little bit here, guys. Trying to watch that shadow because I got this big glare. Anyway, I'll figure all this stuff out as time goes by, I guess. Anyway, when I was doing this blending, this was my first blending page. I did come up with a couple of different color combinations. So we're going to be using those in today's picture, or well, for the new project. But I have these here. I had to wait for YouTube to catch up with the rendering. So I have different color palettes. I have 4 different palettes that I came up with while I was working on the different projects up to this point. So I have 4 color palettes: greens, purples, blues, and then of course I have the oranges that I did with the Halloween jack-o'-lanterns. So these are my own color palettes that I did. So I'm going to use those. But also on this page here, when I was doing this blending, I used 2 different techniques. I used on the petals here for the flowers, I used dark to light. So I went from the dark side to the light side. And then on the leaves, I did a light to dark blending from the light side to the dark side. So on everything else that I've done, I've blended from dark to light. So on this illustration, I'm going to blend from light to dark. We're going to change the technique. And instead of blending from dark to light, we're going to blend from light to dark. So let me put this book back up here. So that just gives you a little bit of background as to how I came up with doing this particular image. Let's see, let me just put those over there. Now, let me see. I'm still working with the camera, guys. Trying to figure it out a little bit. That's about as good as it's going to get. I cannot zoom out so I can show you the entire illustration at one time. That's aggravating. But it is what it is. There anything I can do about it? But I don't understand it. I don't understand why I've got half the book is in shadow when, like I said, when I've got 100-watt light bulb inches above it, but it still looks like it's in shadow. So I don't know what to do about that. I'm going to have to buy new stuff, new lighting and stuff. It does not make sense to me at all that the camera doesn't see that light. Anyway, so I have 4 different color palettes that I have made, my own color palettes. And since we have 4 pictures here, 4 images, I'm going to do the background on each image using a different one of those color palettes. So we're going to have yellows and oranges on this one over here. And then we'll have blues. And then directly below that, we'll have our greens. And then we'll have our purples. And that's for the background. And then for the remaining colors, for the flowers, we're going to use the other palettes. And we'll just see how this turns out. I think this is a good picture for my skill level at this point in time. So let me show you. I already have the pencils. You probably won't be able to see them either. We actually can see them. So I already have the palette picked out. That's the colors we're going to use. I had this light yellow color, and it's the closest thing I could kind of find to the Prismacolor cream. Let me move that just a little bit so it's on camera. So there's a 5th color that can be used for any of these 4 palettes. But anyway, we have the palettes picked already, so we have our colors. And I don't know how well this is going to turn out, guys. The first, let's see, the oranges are the first. Yeah, the oranges are the first palette. So I'm going to sharpen all these pencils, or at least for that particular color palette, the oranges. I'll just go ahead and sharpen each of these pencils that I'm going to use in that palette, the 4. And then the light source, for the page itself is going to be this bug. So it's going to be, the bug itself is going to be hovering above the page a little bit so that its light casts down onto all of these. And I kind of have a mark there at where I'm going to put it. As far as the lightest color, I'll show you here in a second. I don't think you can see it on camera. Okay, now maybe I can zoom in just a little bit here. Maybe that one will work. All right. Maybe I can keep this where I want it to be. Now we're going to start with the light color. And on each one of my images here, now like I said, I got to move the book here, guys. This is my light source, this bug right here. So I have marked out the very edge of each one of these images. So we're going to go from light to dark, and we're going to go from the inside corner to the back with our light source. So the bug is the light source. It is slightly elevated above these images, or for the purpose of what we're doing. We're going to use it like that. I'm just trying to get back on camera now. Now let's see what we have here. Now this is just a base color, guys. Let's see, I kind of need to erase that off of there. That's not even supposed to be there. I really like this eraser. I bought a pack of them. They work out real good. Now, so the light is over here. This is background. Now we're only doing background. And we are working in a little bit different direction. We are working light to dark. Now I'm trying to figure out where all the leaves are at. There are people standing outside my door. And they don't have the nicest language. Let's see. Just going to see if I can't get a little bit of color introduced. I'm trying to kind of decide how far out I want this particular color to go. Because generally I just wanted it touching the paper. So I think maybe that's probably pretty good for just for this one color. And that was light yellow. Light yellow. See if I can turn it to where we can actually see it. Light yellow. 047. Now we're going to go to a creamy yellow. See if I can. Creamy yellow. 046. And we're just lightly going to go on top of that. Not a lot of color on top of that because we want this to be the lightest color. So now let's go back over this way. We'll bring some of this yellow. Very lightly, guys. We're just very lightly. I haven't ever done this. Well, I did this technique on those leaves. I think it's easier for me when I start with the dark. So I can see, because I need dark shadows underneath these flowers and stuff. And I'm going to have to come put them on top of this, which is not. So I'm just very lightly putting in some color. And we'll see how it goes. And to those who are watching, not in chat, welcome. Let's see, I'm just going to go ahead and pull this color out for a little bit, guys. I think that's what I'm going to do with it. Real lightly. Just put some color on the paper. That's all we're doing. So I'm just going to put some of this color up in here. Just very lightly. And I think as long as we go lightly, we're going to be okay. We want to be able to add other colors on top of this. And at the moment, I don't know where those colors are going to go exactly. I just know they're going to be on top of this. So I'm just going to bring this color out. Just a little bit. Because really we're using 5 colors in this background. We'll use that with all of them. I have four color palettes picked out, but then I decided we would add that light yellow. I like the Prismacolor cream. Well, I've never used it, but I like what I've seen with it used in other videos and stuff, and this just does not match that. And I think cream, the Prismacolor cream, is really a nice looking blending color. So I'm kind of just using this yellow. Well, the original yellow, the first one I used, that light yellow color, I'm using it in a replacement. Fernanda, hi. I'm doing good. How are you? I'm just, we're starting a new project here today. And to be doing these 4 different images from Johanna Basford. And hopefully I can make them turn out looking pretty decent. Just lightly going to putting in a background color. And we're doing blending light to dark today. Well, that's good. I'm glad you came by. Before you go to work, say hello. I may have taken on a project here that is a little more than I can handle, but I think it actually fits well with with where I'm at thus far in my coloring. I just want to try to keep everything on camera here. Now, I'm not sure how far up in here I'm going to bring this color, but probably quite a ways because it's just a base color. We're going to put color on top of it. And I may actually just go all the way to the top of the picture with this color. I don't really have to, but I'm kind of working in the reverse order than what I'm used to. So I'm just getting some color up here. I don't need much color, just a little bit. Because this up in this area will be covered with something different. Now my grandson is supposed to come over sometime today. I did mention this before, but I'm not sure when. But hopefully I can get him on here doing a picture. He wants to come over so he can play my PS5, my PlayStation. But I told him last time that he has to color also. He cannot just come over and just play PlayStation. He's going to do some coloring too. Do a little bit of art. And he did. He liked it. And one of my granddaughters wants to come over and do some coloring too. Or at least that's what I've been told so far. I'm just very, very lightly touching this with some color. Very lightly. I'm just barely putting any color in here, actually. I can see it, but it's like just barely, that pencil's just barely touching the paper. Just letting the paper take off what it wants. Now, I probably don't need to go all the way to the top of this with this color. Well, thank you, Fernanda. I'm feeling actually very good with like where I've gotten to within a short period of time. This image right here is going to be a good test. So while you're here right quick, let me show you what I'm actually going to do because I'm going to pull this camera up. I'm just going to lift the camera up a little bit, guys, if I can, because it's so hard to zoom. But just so you can have an idea what's happening here, I'll move that out of the way. I got to figure out my lighting. It's really weird. The camera sees it as shadows, and I've got a bright 100-watt light bulb inches away from this picture, and it's still got shadows on it. I don't understand that. But anyway, I got these 4 different images. And since I started doing this a month ago, I've come up with 4 of my own color palettes. And the green one is on the back here. So I'm using each of these 4 color palettes as backgrounds for these 4 different spheres. So I'm going to use each of those color palettes as a background. So we have the oranges, blues, greens, and purples is what we're going to be doing. And then I'm going to use the remaining colors. I have all the colors. Sorry about my arm. I got all the colors already picked out. They're already in my tray here, ready to go. So we actually, including this one, I added this one, can be used with any of them. It's a light yellow. Prismacolor cream, that's what I'm using it for. It doesn't really, the cream in the color is a pink, and the cream in Prismacolor is cream colored. So a little bit different in how they name their colors. But anyway, so I'm just right now, I also did I did a blending live stream and a blending video, my first blending attempt. And I did 2 different techniques on it. I did from dark to light and light to dark. So my other images, like my Halloween image, it was all blended dark to light. So on this one, I'm doing light to dark, just to see if I can come up with something different. And then, like, this is my oranges. The background is my oranges. So everything else will be colored with the greens, blues, and purples. So that's my entire color palette that I have, or stuff that I've already done. And hopefully I can make this look the way I'm hoping I can make it look. I'm hoping I can make it look the way I'm hoping can make it look. That makes sense. So just trying to pick out the background spaces, and very lightly just put some color on those. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I had to sneeze, guys. And I don't have a microphone mute button like I do when I'm wearing my PS5 headphones. I can mute that out. Now, very lightly, I'm just adding a little bit of color up here. I probably don't need to add this color necessarily. I could switch to a different color, because this light color is not going to be all the way up in here, but I'm going to do it up in here anyway. I've seen other people who have done the light to dark technique, and they have actually covered their entire space with the light colors. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you. I have not really done backgrounds before, so. And let me show you this picture that my daughter wants me to color for her. She wants me to color her this picture. She brought this picture to me and said, "Oh, can you color this for me?" And it's, sorry, I can't really get zoomed in on it because my camera is not that good. Anyway, I'm just waiting for YouTube rendering to catch up. It's a lava lamp. And I mean, everybody knows that a lava lamp, first of all, is glass. I don't know how to color things to make them look like glass. I know it can be done. That's just above where I'm at. And then it has to be illuminated. Well, I don't have experience working with that either. So this is a very complicated thing that she brought me. Like I've been doing this for years already or something. I told her I would work on it, but for her not to be in a hurry to get it back, because it won't be anytime soon when it gets done. Because I'm not going to work on something like that unless I feel like I have the skill to be able to at least make it look decent. And she's like, "Oh, I think you can make it look good, Dad. Well, that's not the point. It needs to look somewhat realistic to what it is. And even the other picture in the Halloween book that I was going to work on, I decided really was a little bit above my skill level where I felt comfortable. And that's part of it is because it has a lot of big spaces to work on for blending. And I thought, well, for me, smaller spaces are probably going to be better. And then when I saw this image right here, I was like, I think that is pretty much perfect for my skill level because the only thing I'm doing here, everything I'm doing I've done before, just not in this particular application, but I have done it before because I'm using all the color palettes that I came up with myself. So, and as far as the blending and stuff, it doesn't really matter what the piece is. That's all the same once you figure it out. Now, I wasn't able to be on here for a couple of days. I had a bunch of stuff going on. And sometimes that's just how it's going to be. Hopefully, now that I have this dedicated camera for live streaming, I can't make videos with it. I can tell you that. I made that mistake. I tried to make a video with this new camera. Not enough memory on the phone. And oh, I had a heck of a time being able to upload that thing because I had the orientation wrong, so the video was turned sideways. And I had to actually get an SD card and put it in the phone so I could get that all figured out and get it uploaded. So it ended up getting uploaded late, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. Okay, so now that takes care of that color. Now I've got to try to figure out kind of where I want this next color to come in at. I think maybe up in here. Very lightly, I'm just going to start putting this color over the top of what I have here. And this is pumpkin red. Number 253. Yeah, I agree with that. I kind of like to do that sometimes too. That's kind of how I've got to where I'm at, is just basically just trying to have fun and figure things out as I go along. So now I'm just going to bring this orange maybe just right in like this. I'm just trying to figure out kind of like how far down I want to bring that color because I don't need that color to go all the way out to the end. And I'm trying to work in light layers. I noticed that was one thing that I did when I was doing my other blending, the Halloween picture too. I noticed that I'm not really layering. I'm putting stuff down like one time and not coming back with like a second layer on top of it. So I am deliberately trying to pay attention to that also. Because I can come back and add more color. So that's kind of what I want to do. So we're just letting the paper pull off whatever color it wants. Okay, Fernanda, have a good day. It was good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Now, I will say, guys, it is a little difficult for me to actually, let me see if I can zoom this back down a little bit. I had pulled you guys up away from what was happening. Let me get you back down here. Maybe like that is better. Let's try to get you back where you're on camera, guys, all the way around so I can. Yeah, about like that. I'm just trying to kind of figure out as I go along here, guys, where I want this orange color to come down to. Just very, very lightly putting this color on top of the yellow. It's not even fully covered. I can just see the color on here. Now I think the next layer might be a little bit better or easier to see what's going on with because we'll be going back to the dark. Because we still got to figure out some shadows and stuff. We got to figure out where all those are going to be. Because all these flowers, they're going to cast shadows down onto the background. And I want the lightest part to be right in here. This part right here. But like I said, I'm used to working dark to light. So it's easier for me, or at least with the experience that I have, it was easier to see where shadows and light belonged doing it that way. But like I said, maybe once I get into getting some of the other colors put on top of this, that it'll be a little bit easier for me to see where the shadows go. Because I'm not putting in any kind of shadows yet. I'm just very lightly getting a base color, a background color. And it's really just a suggestion of color. It actually has color, but it's not real bold. Very little pressure, very little pressure. The paper's just taking whatever color it wants. I'm not really making it take any color. I'm kind of just presenting the paper with the opportunity to pull some color out if it wants to. Now, I got a new neighbor a couple of weeks ago, and she has a dog that barks and barks and barks and barks all the time, barking. And it kind of makes me wish I lived in a place where you weren't allowed to have pets, especially pets that make noise. Now you can probably see, guys, I'm going taking my time. Just very slowly working my way around here. Still being very, very light pressure. Very light pressure. Now, I think that got all of that with that color. I am beginning to see a background up here. Now, let's figure out where this color is going to live, basically. Let's say maybe it's going to be up here like this, very lightly. Now again, we're just going to go very lightly, put some color down. Because we'll have to come back in and figure out exactly where the edges of these different colors, where they're going to be. So for right now, it's just very, very lightly. It's just pulling some color in here so I can have an idea of where I want this particular color to come down to. And just very lightly put some color on the paper. I'm really just letting the paper take what it wants. Not really applying pressure at this point. I'm just letting the paper take a little bit of color. That's all. We'll come back with more color afterwards. I'm just trying to get like a base of where some of these colors are going to be going, because like I said, now what I've done in the past has been a different blending technique, and that's a dark to light, but this time I'm going with the light to dark, which just means I added the light color first and I'm putting darker colors on top. But then we're going to come back and we're going to put more light color on top of the dark color, just to tone it down, whatever we need to do. And if you've watched any of my other stuff, you know I'm a fan of Bob Ross. So I always try to do, like he would always say, 2 hairs and some air. I always keep that in mind. I always keep in mind different things he'd have to say, because it's very encouraging. He wanted people to be introduced to the world of art and to be encouraged. Because just looking at somebody else's artwork can be discouraging if you're not an artist. I know a couple of years ago, I was watching YouTube videos of artists and colorists, and it was never something I would have thought I would be sitting here doing at this point in time. I just never would have dreamed that, never would have thought that, and yet here I am. Okay, I think that's got that okay right there. And now I get to actually switch back and go back to the technique I'm most familiar with, and that's working from light to or dark to light. I'll move this just a little bit. I have to keep an eye on my laptop so I can see the camera. So now, instead of coming back this way, I'm going to start bringing this forward. And again, this is very lightly, very, very lightly. It's just nice, sharp point. and very lightly. This is not as dark as we want it. But we can layer it. We'll come back in and layer it and make it a little bit darker. Right now, I'm just trying to determine a little bit about where the different levels of light are actually going to be. So I just got to keep working. From the top of the image, bringing it down. And like I said, right now, I don't know where these colors are actually going to end up. And we're just slowly letting this color build up. All right. Just got to figure out how far down I want to bring this orange, or the darkest color. I would just slowly start working this stuff, guys, these colors, because I don't really know where I'm going to take it to. I just know it's going to go on here for now. So I think maybe right up here like this. Now I see a lot of people color a lot faster than I can color, guys. Just getting some color. I'll bring this down just a little bit more on this side right here. Maybe right down into these little spots. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's see. Let's bring this on down this way, though. Let's come in here. A little. We'll pull it down right here. Let's pull it down this way. Like this here. Catch that little spot right there. Probably something like that. And then I think maybe, yeah, from here across, just slightly across the top there. So let's do this part right here too. And to those of you who are just watching outside of chat, thank you. I hope you guys are having a good day. And then I think we'll put just a little bit of this right here. And I think that's probably pretty close to what we're looking for. Right in here like this. Okay, something similar to that. So now let's come back. Well, actually, I need that color back because even though we're going to switch colors right here, I do want to get this color under here for shadow. Just a little bit of shadow color underneath these little leaves and things, these petals. It gets just that little bit of shadow under there. Let me resharpen my pencil now. I'm losing a little bit of that sharp point. Then I don't want to be breaking the tip off. So very lightly. This just gives us a little bit of a suggestion of a shadow that will be under these petals and leaves that are supposed to be on top. So this is just giving that little suggestion of a shadow under there. And we kind of got to go around all this stuff like that, guys, because it all will cast a shadow down onto the background. This is the same background color here, but we're still going to outline it just a touch right there because we want it to show up here. About like that. Now, see, I'm just looking at this point, where do I want to bring this color of shadow down? Because I don't want to bring this color of shadow all the way to the bottom. We're going to change it. So I think I'm going to bring it, well, I can bring it all the way down. Just a little bit like this. Just a little bit, guys. Just a suggestion of color. A little bit of shade area underneath these plants that could actually come out and touch the background. Because they would all have a shadow under them. Now, I think right down through here is going to be good enough. I don't need to go too much farther down on the paper with this particular shadow color. I think it's going to stop right here. Let me get my eraser back out. Clean that up just a touch. Okay. Now we're going to bring this same shadow color. We can bring it right across the top right here. About like that is pretty good, because we'll change the shadow color. When we get down here just a little bit further, so we want to put just a little bit of that shadow color right here along the edge of this leaf. And then from there, we'll have a different shadow color. Okay, something about like that, guys. Now, we put our next layer. We'll go back in here. and just put some color on top of all this in here that we already have. Just a little bit of color. And again, this is just very lightly, guys. Very, very lightly. I'm just barely going over it, barely touching the paper, really. And it's pulling off some of that color. And I'm basically just letting it take what it wants, color-wise. Just very lightly. Again, guys, I'm just coloring very, very lightly. Let the paper take what color it wants. Because we probably want to come back with the darker color again around the edges, because we want that shadow to be a little bit darker than the rest of what we're working on. And we have a little bit of that, but when I put this orange on top of it, it kind of buries it. So we will come back with some more of that other color, but not yet. Not yet. We want to get looks like I'm seeing a little bit right here. I like having this eraser style, the pencil style eraser. There's a nice good tip on it for erasing with. Now, I'm not really seeing varying colors in this yet. It all looks pretty much the same to me. But that's about where that's going to come to. Now let's come down here with a different color. Maybe we'll come up here. Let me sharpen this pencil again. I think I actually brought that down a little bit farther than what I wanted to, guys. Because I actually have 5 colors instead of 4. But that's all right. We're going to use it like we have it. We'll bring it down. We'll darken it up as we come along. I do need to bring, before I do this though, let's go back to this other orange. Because I need to bring let's sharpen it right quick. Just so I can see what's happening. Now I want to put a little bit of this color underneath where these are, just like we did with the darker color. Just a little bit. Just so it suggests a shadow under here. Because these petals put a slight shadow. So we just want to suggest that shadow color. And now we'll have to blend this out. But hopefully it will leave the suggestion of a shadow under here, just around the edges. Doesn't have to be real bold. It's just a suggestion of shadow. Just a suggestion of shadow, guys. Okay. Something similar to this. Okay. So now we can come back in with a little bit lighter color. And again, very lightly. Very lightly. Because we're working in layers. Now this is not turning out like I wanted it to, guys, but that's okay. I've already got this too dark because I pulled this color down too far. So I got confused when I went from light to dark instead of just working my way dark to light. So let me just kind of leave that sit like that for a minute. Let's throw some of the lighter colors in here. Well, really what I need to do, well, no, that's okay like that. Let's start with the light color, the very lightest one down here. Lighten this back up just a little bit. It won't do a lot because once you get that darker color in there, you're not going to do a lot with lighter colors on top of it. You can lighten it down a little bit, I think. And that's what we're going to try to do here. Tone it down just a little bit. Yeah, I got this a little bit darker than what I wanted it down on this bottom edge, guys. But that's okay. It is a little bit darker. We're going to come back, lighter down here. It's a little bit darker up here. So I am going to be bringing that dark color. Hey, Monty, good morning. No, no coffee this morning. Let me see here. All right, now let's come back with this one. Let's see. Let's try to lighten this up just a little bit. So how you doing, Monty? You doing okay? Yeah. Hopefully tonight I'll be able to get back on there. I just had a bunch of stuff going on around here that kind of made it like harder for me to be able to kind of do some things. I had other things I had to take care of, so I don't get rest and stuff, but we'll get back on Farming Simulator. I think part of it for me is I have a hard time because as the player, it's a waste of my time because I know in a few weeks we're switching over and we're not coming back to none of this stuff again. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to have the motivation to be playing that particular game because we're not going to be playing it but for a couple more weeks or just a few more weeks, not a couple, but a few more weeks. But I will keep it going at least a little bit. And I got a little bit off right here with that darker orange. I probably shouldn't have gone with that darker orange right there. Let's come back with the darkest now and see if we can't put in and get this a little bit darker at this point. I'm just going to see if I can't bring just a little bit of this color, bring it a little bit darker. Up on the top edge. This might have been better if I'd have started with the other technique, uh, blending light to dark instead of trying to do, I mean, dark to light instead of trying to do light to dark, because I don't have as much experience with that, especially with these darker colors and stuff. So I'm just trying to pull it down a little bit darker at the top. It's not as dark as what I had thought it might be, but let's see. I heard my other phone here, so Casey might be, nope. I thought that might have been Casey wanting to bring Zeke over. Because she told me that my daughter told me that my grandson wants to come over. She told me that yesterday, that he wants to come over today. But I don't know what time. I was going to let him live stream, but we'll just have to see. Most of the time, he doesn't come until in the evening time. Every time I sharpen these pencils, guys, the tip breaks off. Every time. Let me get back on here. Now we're just trying to bring some of this darker, make it a little bit darker. And we're just bringing a little bit of this color down, guys, making it just a little bit darker on the edge over here. Not a lot more I'm going to be able to do with it. Yeah, I have subscribed to her channel. I've watched all her videos so far. She may have just posted another one though. This is about the time of day when she posts videos. And bring this part just a little bit darker here, guys. Well, there's not a lot more I'm going to be able to do with that. Let me try to throw a little bit more of this lighter color down on the bottom part. Try to lighten it up just a little bit down here. I've got several neighbors that have dogs. And one of the new neighbors, man, their dog barks all the time, and it lives right next door to me. So all day and all night, I hear this dog barking. I'm just trying to lighten this up just a little bit, guys. I let the lighter orange run down a little bit too far. I wanted to keep this a little bit lighter back here, but this is okay. It's darker on this side than it is on this side, so that's all right. Just trying to lighten it up just a little bit. That's probably pretty good. Then we'll take this other yellow and just come over the top of this in here like this. Just lighten this up a little bit back in here. It's just a background, but still. That helped pull that back down just a little bit. Not quite as dark as it was. Throw a little bit of yellow on top of all that. So I don't really think I'm going to be able to do anything more with the background as far as getting it the way I wanted it to look. It's not exact, but it's not too bad either. Let me throw just a little bit of this color up in here. I don't want to put too much of the yellow up on the high side because I want it to be darker. I don't want to lighten it up too much. I want to lighten this up down here a little bit. And that is about as good as I'm going to be able to get it. I think about like that, guys. It's probably going to do it. Let's maybe touch the dark one more time. Let's go over the dark right here one more time. I don't think it's going to pull much of that dark color off of the pencil, but we do want this to be darker. So we're just going to come up in here like this. Just on the top section up here. And just kind of go over it one last time. We want this to be as dark as we can get it up here. As dark with this color, that is. Looks pretty good. All right, I think that's pretty good. That's about the best I'm going to be able to do it. All right, now let me use this eraser, catch a couple of little spots. Just trying to catch any little spots. I don't think there were too many places. Thankfully, I have an eraser that can get into these little small spots now. That looks nice. It works real nice, the eraser does. A lot better than what I was using. All right, everything looks pretty good. I think that's about all I can do with it. Now, I kind of wish I had not done try to do a shadow under these flowers, these petals and stuff here. I didn't get the light yellow in that I was really wanting, but that's okay. That gave us that right there. So now let's look at something else. We've been streaming for just over 2 hours, guys. Let's see if we can't get a little bit of green going on in here, maybe. Now, I don't have to use every color of green on each piece. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm just going to try to do this stalk right here. Let's see, that'll be very difficult. I'm just very lightly touching on this stalk here, guys. We're going to come back with a second color on it also. So we're just getting a suggestion of color in here. Probably a little difficult to see. Yeah, because cream in this particular set of pencils, this brand of pencils, is more pink. And I want more yellow tone, so I have to use, even like with this, I kind of wanted a creamy color, but I ended up having to use a light yellow. So it ends up being different. Can't ever hardly get that thing to read because the light, it glares. Anyway, yeah. I don't have a true cream color. So I have to like use something different. Let's see, what is this? Got to have a nice sharp point to do these small little. And then we're just going to come back right over on the same spot where I was just at. We're just going to add a second color. And I can feel it crumbling when it touches the paper. And even though that's hard to see, that did give us a two-tone green stem right here. And then let's come back to the dark green here for a second. And we want to bring just a little bit of that dark color in here. Around the outside, and then let's come back with the apple green for the inside. And then we will touch that just a little bit there. Bring this around the outside edge. Bring this around the outside right there. Same thing down on, whoops. Now see, that just really broke the tip off. It's really hard to work with these colors and keep the tip from breaking. Okay, and then we come back with the light green, apple green. Okay, then again, a little bit of dark on the outside, just so we get that two-tone. And then we make sure we get some of this apple green in here also. Okay. Now let's see. Need to just continue on with this part. And I can't say that I know how these are supposed to be done. I just know this is how it's working out for me. So make sure I have everything covered with dark green and light green. Now this one is still has not opened yet. We're just sorry about my hand in front of the camera, guys. I just got to take my time, guys. The top part of the stem, there might be a little bit of orange right there, but it's so close together that It's really almost impossible. That's a little better. Let me reach across here again, guys. And let me just get this darker orange right there, the spot where I just erased it a little bit. There we go, that's better. Okay, now, let's see. We're just going to bring this out just a little bit. These are buds that have not opened yet. I need to look out my window right quick, guys. Sounds like my son-in-law's truck. No, I don't see a truck out here. I hear a vehicle, but I don't see it. All right, let's go back up here. Where were we? I needed to look outside for a second, guys. My daughter tries to send me messages, and sometimes they don't come through for whatever reason. I can hear the wind blowing too. It's blowing my front door. My front door wiggles just a little bit. I can hear it wiggling in the latch, the wind. Okay, let's see. I still got to get this one right here. Right down to the outside edge. Come back in with the lighter green. Okay. That's not too bad. Not too bad. It helps me, it certainly helps me keep the picture more on camera. These pads really aren't big enough. I thought they were bigger. They're too small. They don't really hold my hand up like I want it to. But They do help. I do like the turntable. Now let me see, what color of flower am I actually going to put over here? Now let's see if we do a different stem color for this flower. Let's see, I think maybe I want to do, maybe try and try these over here. I'm just going to pull just a little color in here. It's going to be very difficult to see this color. So I'm just putting the suggestion of some color here. And then we will use this lighter color. Let me see if I can't get some a little bit of stem color in here. Always breaks the tip of that lead off, or the core, not lead. Let me knock that off of there, guys. It's a very, very light green, so it's not going to show up real well, but it'll be there. Okay, let's see. Maybe we can just kind of do the same kind of thing over here with these. Because it's so not noticeable. Oh, I need a little bit of color up here too. Just a little, and then we'll come back with this. Now let's see. Maybe we bring this up like this just a little bit. About like that. about like that. And then let's see. Maybe if we bring this darker color up this way. A little bit, very faintly, very lightly on that side. Very lightly on that side. Like that. Let's see, is that going to take care of all that? This is looking pretty good so far. I think it's looking pretty good. I would do exactly that too, Monty. If she was ever in my neighborhood and I knew about it, I would definitely take my book and have her ask her if she would autograph it. Okay, so now let's do this right here. Let's just bring a little bit of this dark color. We're just going to bring it out like this. Like that. We're going to bring just a little bit of it along here like this. Along this side like this, just a little bit. A little bit of shadow under there. A little bit of shadow under this side. Like that. And then the same thing here, we'll bring this dark green right down the line that our illustrator left for us. Just a little bit of like this. Then maybe just a touch on the edge right here. Like this. Like that. And then we'll put this on here. Well, that has just a little bit different look to it. Okay, let's see. I need to go back. I need to go back to, well, I got one little leaf right here I need to do. That gives us a little two-tone color on it. It's small enough we don't see it that much. But I need to come back to this here. Because these, I was actually thinking these were flower petals, but they're not. They're leaves. And they don't have to be exactly the same on both sides or anything like that. Not everything in nature is asymmetrical. It's all perfect and beautiful, but it's not all asymmetrical. That would have kind of looked good with some like white in those petals also, or in the leaves. Would have been interesting. But we get too many colors going on. So I think that looks pretty good with the leaves. Now let me see. Let's see, let me put these back over here because I think that finishes the greens that I'm going to use. So now I need to use blues, some yellow, or some blues and purples. Well, my granddaughter wants to come over too. My granddaughter and my grandson. So I'll probably have both of them over here wanting to color at the same time. But I'm not sure when they're going to show up. Let's see, I did see a spot that I needed to get my eraser out for right here. Very lightly. So I open that back up. I got a little bit of that brown in there. That's better. Now, let's see. Because I've got different types of flowers going on here, but I want to use different colors. Let me see here. What could I do? Let me sharpen up a yellow. Oh, Monty, I will show you the cream color right now. I'm getting ready to use cream. Oh, gotcha. So we'll put this yellow back. Let's get our dark green back out again. Let's get our dark green back out. And let's go right here. Actually, let me see if I can take this orange, because right here, there should be orange right there, a little dot of orange. There we go. Now, let's just come right back here like this. We'll just put that dark down the center right there like that. I think it'll be okay. And then we'll bring this lighter green this one and put it over here. Like that. Put a little more on there like that. And then I see what you're saying. We got these leaves up here. I did notice that earlier when I was doing the background, but then I wasn't really thinking about it here. And then I'm just going to do this like this, just because I can. Just give it a little darkness to come up in there, a little bit. And then we'll do the same thing right here. And then let's just throw a hint of like a vein in there. Just a little suggestion. Okay, there we go. All right, now let's use this light yellow. And we're just going to do these little just around the outside here. And then we're going to do the same thing here with this one. Now, we're going to make these two flowers blue. So let's see if we can, maybe I can change. Let's see, let's do dark blue. Sometimes it's real hard for me to see, guys. I don't know if it's my glasses or what, but because I just cleaned my glasses, but it's like there's like a film. My vision gets like hazy. Let's see. I think I should just go ahead and put just a little touch of this blue in here too. Not a lot because just like that. And then we'll just a little bit of that dark blue. Like that. Let's see. Let me come back with something different here now. I'm just wanting to use these blues a little bit differently. Pull this out just a little bit farther. And then let's go with the lighter of the blues on the top. Just testing this out to see what it's going to look like, guys. Of course, pretty much when it tested, then that's how it's going to have to stay. But that's okay. A little light blue tip on the end there for that one. But then for the one below it, we're going to change it up just a little bit. And we'll make this one a little bit darker, just a little bit darker on the tip. Probably not even that noticeable. But we want it to be a little bit darker on the tip because it's on the bottom down there. So a little more shadow coming back that way. Let's see. Now maybe we just come back with the dark. Let's see, and I can spin this right here on my turntable and keep it underneath the camera. A little easier. Okay. Well, I don't know what my neighbor upstairs is doing, but sounds like they're dragging furniture around all over the place up there. I hear that quite often too, all hours of the night. Now we're just going to bring a little bit of that dark down here. Because these petals are covered by these that are on top. So we don't need to put as much of this darker blue. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we'll go with bring this out like this. Come around a little bit like this. Like that. And then this will have just a little bit of this color in it here. Like that. And then we'll bring this color here. Very lightly. Same thing here. And then just very lightly out here on the edge. Because it's going to be a different color. Better sharpen the pencil. Then use all of it. Now let's see. Yeah, this turntable or Lazy Susan does sure help it with this part of it anyway. Now let's see. Very lightly, just put some color up here. A little bit of color. A little bit of color. Very lightly. A little bit of color. And then one more. Very lightly. Okay, now we'll use the darker I'm going to use the darker of these two blues on the bottom layer. So this darker one goes on the bottom. And it's not going to be real noticeable difference, guys. They're very close to being the same color, actually, but they're all part of the blending palette that I decided I wanted to just use on this this particular illustration, the way I was going to do it with my color palettes. Okay, that takes care of that. And then we'll do the lighter of the blues, the lightest. Throw a little bit of a tip on it. And then this is up for up here. Because this color would be a little bit lighter being it has more direct full sun. But not going to be a big noticeable difference. But there doesn't have to be. And then I think maybe I'll just put this light blue right here in the middle. Something like that. Now we just have to do the same thing again. But I'm going to bring this to a stop right here, guys. My grandson and my granddaughter will be over here. And then I'm going to live stream again when they come so they can both color a picture on live stream. That'll be fun. So I'm going to let this one sit right here where it's at, take a little break before they get here. And then I will get back on here after they come. Let's see, maybe I can find out here what time they're going to be coming. Sorry, guys, I had to message my daughter, but she's not telling me what time they're going to come over, just sometime this afternoon. So I'm going to bring this to a close right here, guys, because I want to get back on here once they get here. So actually, two of my granddaughters and one of my grandsons is coming. So we may have three kids on here in a while coloring. Yeah, I am hoping to farm at midnight. I'll be back on here. I'm not sure whether it'll be another hour or so, but at some point this afternoon, I'll be back on here so the kids can color. And then I am hoping that I will be back at midnight. And hope that I'll see everybody later. So until the next one, guys, that's going to wrap it up. I'll catch you guys in the next stream. Until then, God bless.